Hi, and welcome to the GIS help videos for the experimental learning exercise. Today I'm going to show you a general orientation of how ArcGIS Pro works. So this is what you'll look at if you open ArcGIS. You have options for making something new, and these are options for projects you're already doing. Now to start, we're going to open a new map. This is what most people have to do all the time. Now you have to name it. So I'd name it something like ESS 241 project. Maybe put your name in it, something like that. Now, ArcGIS will open like this by default. And generally, this is the map. This is where you'll look at the spatial data. This is the catalog. This is where you'll connect different data together. Like you'll add it to the map and you'll add folders from your computer into ArcGIS. And the contents, this is where you'll manage the data that's being seen on the map. You'll change the symbology, you'll change the layering, like which data has priority over others. And this is the taskbar where you can select other things, bring up things, change the viewing of the map, and so on. For example, a handy little thing is in the map. You might want to change the imagery to something more usable, such as from currently, you might want to have just pure imagery. So this way you can see where things are. You can also change this back to whatever you want. Like this, you can see Toronto. Hi, and welcome to the video on how to add folders, how to add the data to your file. So you want to start by going to Insert on the taskbar and click Add Folder. Now this will open up your computer folder directory, and you want to find wherever you've saved your map to that you've been assigned. For me, this is here in 241 fixed maps. And once I click open, it'll appear in my folders tab here. And if I expand it even more, I can see all of the different maps that I have. You should just have one, or I think maybe two. Um, but you should see it here. But you can't see it on the map yet. And that's because you have to drag it onto the map. And then you might not see anything at first. But if you right click and click zoom to layer, you should be able to see the map that you've been assigned. You can zoom out, you can zoom in, you can go wherever on the map, but as long as you click zoom to layer, it should take you back to the data. Hi, and now once you have the map in the area, you should start by looking at the map, looking at what geologic structures you can see, the different contacts, and looking at the legend, trying to understand what's there, what each symbol, what each line means. And you can kind of ignore these areas. This is a cross section. I don't think many of your maps have this, and this isn't useful for what you'll be doing either. It's just this main map here. And once you have a rough understanding of what's there, and feel free to ask people for any help, you can start by mapping it. And to do this, what you want to do is you want to go to folders to the name of the project. You want to click on the database, and you want to right click and then go to new and click feature class. And this will give you the option of adding a feature class. And now you should name this something like geologic underscore map outline. Any of this can be with any underscores, but we don't need that. And for the feature class type, this is very important. You want a polygon. Sometimes you might want a line or a point in future, but for this, the outline, you want a polygon. Although it might seem like it should be a line, just a polygon is better, as you'll see. Now there's lots of options within these pages, but currently you don't have to worry about it for this class. You can just select a polygon. Once you click finish, it will create a feature class. Here we go. So now on the left and on the right, you can see we have geologic underscore map underscore outline. But you can see nothing's changed. It hasn't, we've just made a folder, not a folder, but somewhere to put data, and we've given it a name, and we've made it a polygon. But now we need to create features for it. You want to go to Edit on the taskbar, and within Features, you want to click Create, and that should bring up this toolbar on the right. It should have the same layout as you see me having. And then what you want to do is you want to click on the geologic map outline, and you have a bunch of options. So as you can see, there's polygon, there's autocomplete polygon, there's right angle polygon, circle, square, rectangle, sorry, ellipse, freehand, all these options. Now, for this outline, simply a polygon will do. And you'll see here a bunch of things down here have opened up as well. And those are for helping create the polygon as well. Now, I would advise when starting doing this project that just having an outline polygon for the map is very handy, as you'll come to see. And so once you're at this point, it's all up to you, and you should find the outlines. You should very carefully draw polygons, and I'm using the arrow keys to move. So if I try and click and drag, it will start making the polygons. So now you can see I'm starting to make a polygon. And you want to be very careful because this will become the basis of future polygons, that it's exactly where you want it to be. And don't worry if it starts doing this. Keep going. It always does this, and it somewhat scares you, but you'll get used to this. So you have to go. That's a bit difficult, but I think we can squeeze in there. Over here and down here and over here. And once you're complete, you can just double click, and it will do this. And you can also click here because you can start making another one if you want, which I wouldn't recommend for this one. But then you just click finish. And now you'll have this one big polygon. Now, as you can see, I can't see what's underneath the map. That's because on the left, it's above the total shift. And if you see, if I put it below, then I can't see it at all. If I put it above, I can see nothing. And now this is an issue. And how we're going to solve this, we're going to change the symbology of the map outline. So we're going to click on this drop down, which opens this little image, which shows us what this data is being displayed as. And we can change that, thankfully enough. If you click on this, you have a bunch of options. This is where ArcGIS gets very interesting because you can you can choose whatever you want. It's art. I can pick crosshatch, I can pick this, I can pick a glacier. Yeah, so obviously for this as just the outline, you want something that's simply just an outline like that. Um, or something like there's a dash one. Here we go, a dash one. And you can even go further than this. It's not just these these bases, but you can go into the properties. And here, as you can see, I can change the color, I can change the width, I can increase it a bunch, and then that way it will become more visible, as you can see. So now once that's done, also it might have selected the layer, and to get rid of that, if you go to edit, you can click clear, and it'll stop selection. And you also might want to save it, just because it will keep it permanently if you log out or log in, I think. So as you can see, we have an outline of the map, and don't worry if there's gaps here. That's just like a funny little bit of ArcGIS. It's still fully there. You haven't deleted any of the data or anything. It's just a visual thing. And this is a great starting point for the rest of the project because then you can very easily, if you make too big of a polygon, you can just very easily cut it, clip it to this polygon. And you can already see if you click of this, you get rid of it, you just hide it. This is the outline now. So this is what you'll be working off of to make the rest of the project. And obviously you can quite easily just control C this and then control C, control V, and then you can make this one like a solid color. And then you already have the beginning of the map, which is quite lovely. And if you put that there, then You have a nice thing going on. Hi, welcome back. We're going to go over how to start the mapping. Now, it's the same as before. You want to go edit and you want to go to create. Oh, no, you want to go back to the catalog, sorry. You want to go to the catalog. You want to right click the project again. You want to add new and you add feature class. And this will name, well, on my map, I have a bunch of limestone and dolomite. So I'm going to name this limestone underscore dolomite. And it's going to be a polygon again. And then I'm just going to click finish. And then there we go. We have limestone and dolomite. Now from this point, I go to the edit bar and I click create. And then so now you can see there's multiple options. There's the background, the outline, which we won't go into, and then the limestone and dolomite. Now I click this and it's the same as before. So I have to be very careful and I have to see where I would try and trace it out in your mind, have a rough idea of it before you start going with the polygon, just in case you don't make any, just so you know like the general behavior of it. And then once you know that, you're gonna have to go in very carefully and connect all the points up so that it makes a lovely layer. As you can see me doing. Uh, and you'll get to a point, I just do it very roughly and quickly, which I would not recommend, but just for demonstrating what to do when I get close to the end. You can see, so I'm just mapping away. It goes up here, it goes here, then it goes up here, then here, and then it goes here, and then this is where the nice thing of making the other polygon is then I can just do this. And I don't care about the extra area. You'll see in a moment. Mm, yeah, I want to go like roughly there. Sometimes you have to make guesses. Like we don't know where the thing is there. But oh, there you go. Now we have this layer. It's a bit oversized, but it's done the job roughly. You'll see in a moment. Once I clear that, you can see that it covers where the limestone and dolomite is, where that brick pattern is. But it's oversized. This isn't nice looking. We don't want something like this. So we want to go to analysis, tools, and we want to search up the clip tool. Now this is a tool that people use all the time. It's very useful. If it says pending edits, usually click save. And so what we want to do is we want to drag this limestone dolomite layer to here. There's the input feature, and we want to clip it on the geologic map outline. Now, once we click run, you're going to see something very special. It's going to make a new layer. It's called limestone dolomite clip. Once we get rid of limestone dolomite, you can see it beautifully fits within the outline. And so now it's a lot cleaner. Now you can see there's just this layer, no excess. And if we get rid of the original map, you can see this. So you have the pink is the limestone and dolomite. This brown is the background, and then the yellow is the outline. And so already you can see we've turned this ancient 1960s map into something modern. It's very rough right now, but over the next couple weeks, you will create something even nicer, and you'll make it very useful for future geologists. For small features like these strike and dips, the best way to do something like that is you go to the catalog, you click new feature class, and you want to name strike underscore And that all looks good. I mean, we still want a polygon, but we also want a new field. And this one we want to have um, the strike and then the dip, because that's what we want people to be able to open the data and see that for each polygon. So once you've done that, I think the long should be fine. You click finish just like before, and then we open, and then we can see strike and dip here. Now, a really interesting is once you click Control T, we'll put this is the data. This is the actual data. And so you see for this data, this feature we haven't done anything with. There's nothing. But if we open limestone dolomite clip, for example, you see we have one polygon, which is the big pink one. And we can see the area, the length, the name. If I made another polygon, it would pop up down here and give me the information relevant to that one. And so with the strike and dip, we now have strike and dip. So if we go in and do the same thing, we go edit, create, and click strike dip, and I'm going to make a polygon. Just going to minimize this bit. So let's go find a strike and dip that we know. There we go. Here's a strike with a dip of 35. So we're going to draw the polygon. Draw that out. Okay. Now we know the the dip is 35. The strike, you'll have to measure yourself using a protractor. But I know the thing is 35. You can use a tool to measure angle, and I can should be like this, right? Yeah. So we know the strike is one 117, 118, something like that. I can make it a bit more precise if I get rid of the layer. So once we know this, we can go into here. If we open the thing, we'll see there's this, but it's empty. The strike and dip haven't been created. So we need to go into here and we need to edit it. So strike is 118 and the dip is 35. Now we not only have the polygon, which is just a rough polygon of the thing, which we can show up and make look nice and whatever, but now we have the strike and dip. And so this means if we share this with someone, they can go in and they can select a polygon and you can see the strike and they can see the dip, which is really handy. And that's the beauty of it, that not only do you just get the polygon, it's not just spatial data, but you can attach, you can add a Shakespeare play in the data if you want. You shouldn't do that for this, but you can add data hiddenly, and for people who want to look at it, it's there, which is really helpful. So as you can go along, you can use for everything, like if you see some calcite, maybe you see a lineation, you can add that in. If you see a fault, I think there's a fault on this one. Yeah, that squiggly line. You see the fault there? You can add in some information about it, the way that it's striking. If there's any dip information, you can add. It's a really nice way to add things together.